This is everybody's day. This is everybody's day. Whosoever celebrate the acts of God, that's what we have a larger portion of the church doing. There are only a few who understand that the one who does these things seeks men to partner with him, and it's a burden in the heart of God. He wants to work with men. It's not because he cannot by himself, but the design in him is that he works with a man, and he's seeking for men who will want more than a meal on the table. He wants those who will accompany him to the kitchens so that he can feed more. Why did I go this route? It's because when we begin to discuss the burdens of the Lord, the burdens can be received as a product. Meanwhile, God does not feel threatened if you understand the back end of a burden in God. Are you with me? You know, we've been saying burden since we came, and somebody has been saying, how does it drop? How is it communicated? God will not ungod himself. I don't know how to put it. What word can you? JD speaks better English. I think he speaks better English writing than even speaking. That his writing is. You know, so God will not be ungodded. It means he will not lose his essence because he gave you a picture of the manner in which he communicates his burdens. One of the manners, and that's one of the ways to pick burdens in scriptures, is that God uses scripts to communicate burdens. Scripts. He uses writings. I don't know if we have any prophetic scribes here, but I got to know that there was a tribe like that in the prophetic a few years ago. How that if they talk to you, you won't come into any deep counsel in God. But if you mistakenly put a pen into their hand and you give them paper, even the things they write will awe them. Is there anybody like that here? Okay. I know the numbers are multiplying. I know that the numbers are multiplying. That there'll be many more. In the quietness of your heart, God will not even come through your heart. So it's not your heart that is writing. It's just your hand. A pen. And the pens don't need to be special. You can even use one that the ink has overflowed. But because of the oil on you, that's how it works. I meet them everywhere. Because there are new shades of the prophetic that have been occasioned. Some of them have existed. Some of them have been occasioned because of the desperation of God to get his counsels out to his people. And that's why what we have known needs to have gaps for increase. If not, when God... I can't remember who I was working with. Somebody started that kind of thing around us here, I think about 6 years ago. But he didn't start with comprehensible writing. He just holds a pen, touches a book, and he's just... And then he met someone, and the person says demonic. So when he met me, I said, by what tools did you say that this thing is demonic? Because that you don't understand it does not equate it to the demonic. There are tools. Okay, I said I was going to teach that sermon, right? I call them the 9 guiding lights of the Spirit. Have I told us? Okay, let me start this migration. Then I'll go to guiding lights of the Spirit. You can use those tools to check anything that comes. One after the other, one after the other. That you don't understand does not mean that it is demonic. Because our life in God is designed to progress in dimensions. And what a dimension means is that these are realms of higher knowledge. So you will need to be a student again to know what they are doing there. Are you with me? When you used to fast, when you were small, somebody hurts you, you give him 3 days fast, right? You know those kind of things. When you grow up, there will be fresh demands on you as regards fasting. And then you fast for 30 days and the person will still be driving his car. You will think that God has changed. It's that your journey has moved you into a new dimension. Are you with me? When you began your journey, your provision was dimensioned into a place in God. So that even if you didn't say it too long, as I want it, you have it. After a while, your supplies are built into his purpose for you. And if you have cravings that do not advance his counsels, you will not have them. You will need to learn what Jehovah Jireh means again, because you are in a new dimension. So be careful what you call demonic. It might just be an invitation into a new class in God. Are you with me? So that's about the prophetic scribe. So if you are like that, it might not be a devil. Just come and meet Prophet Watchman and let him help you discern where you are. We use science. An office is stronger in that area. Am I right? Yes. All right. So God uses scripts to speak to his people. And so as I prepared for this conference, God gave me a script. For example, when I was in Liberia, he gave me a script. Same Revelation chapter 3. And it was in an attempt to define the church in Liberia, and it was the letter to the church in Philadelphia. It was word for word communications to them. Tonight is not the church in Liberia, it's the church in our nation. I will hurt you, but stay. If you go home, see, just close that door. But a time comes when it is possible that because of our long stay in a particular location in time, we lose lenses. And it is because of those events, which God knows are natural to us, he makes a very, very deliberate attempt to recalibrate our sight. I'm going to explain it in natural terms. Do you have a white shirt that has a stain? The first day you went to Mama Foike, and then in trying to pull Shaki, you splattered oil on your white shirt and you applied soap to it. You were initially very, very ashamed. So you had to look for a cardigan, or you had to buy a polythene bag, and you put sheets of paper inside it and carried it in your chest like it was a breastplate. What you were hiding was the stain. You got home, you washed it, and the stains did not completely go, but your service unit in church requires a white shirt. So the first few times you wore it to church, you were unsettled. If you were telling a brother to sit down as a sister, you thought that he was looking at the stain. After a while, the stain is still there, but you lose consciousness of it. Say your clothes is stained. It's been there before. It's as though there is no more shame. At least it's not today that I was stained. Say, leave my shirt alone. What is happening to you is that by use, your senses are being dulled. Timo, we have a camera like that. We have to change the camera like that because after much usage, the sharpness of our pictures was reducing. It was not because the camera dropped. It's because that's the way of lenses. They become dull, will multiply the usage. And that's why even the man who sees needs to approach God in repeated fashion. They that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. The process of renewal in that place is an exchange. They take away what has become damaged, what has worn out by use, and then they give you a fresh one, so that those who look at you will see time happening to you, but your cutting edge is sustained. Are you with me? That's how it works. The steadfast love of the Lord never ceases. His mercies never come to an end. Why? It's because every morning the mercies are renewed. So we need to sit in the Word of God and find ourselves. One of the things about scriptures is that the lenses never get blurred. And so the things that I say to you may not really be exact, but the things that are here have been tried 7 times in the fire. It means they have passed the tests of wearing. They have arrived in a state of perfection, and they can be used to discern anytime, anywhere. That is why we become trepid when these words that are not subjected to change become varied upon the lips of men. That's why we become afraid. Because if the measuring instrument is tampered with, it means that our homeward journey towards accurate existence will never happen. So Revelation chapter 3. We want to look at the church in Sardis. And I had to pray when you said life. Say, Pastor Judah, none and no touch life. We live life where it is. All right, so let's look at it. Watchman, is that your? Because the way the Prophet Watchman shook his head was like, I need to study Thyatira. Is it Sardis? You are a prophet now, you will see more. Stay awake this night. I can't preach your sermon, you know that now. I know that I cannot preach Prophet Watchman's sermon. All right. So Revelation 3:1-6. Unto the angel of the church in Sardis write, these things saith he that hath the 7 spirits of God. I want you to pay attention to every detail. The word hath there suggests that what's that thing they do when somebody comes into government? Okay, there was a declaration of the assets of the Christ. And on his list of possessions, one of them was that he possessed the 7 spirits of God. 1. 2 was that he also had the 7 stars. And if you have read Revelation chapter 1, you will find out that the 7 stars had to do with the angels of the 7 churches. So in a broader scope, it meant that Jesus, there was a way I put it down, and I want to capture that. It's that, okay, am I preempting myself? It's that he's called the Lord of the spirits, and he's also called the Lord of the ministries. He is the Lord of the spirits, is also called the Lord of the ministries. When Paul, in an attempt to advertise the gifts that are sustained in the Godhead, or the realities that are sustained in the Godhead, unto God he bequeathed operations, right? Unto the Christ it was administrations or ministries. Unto the spirits he gave gifts. So if we call him the Lord of the spirits, it also means that he is the Lord of the gifts. He not only governs them, the gifts are his possessions. The ministries are also his possessions. Let me read to the end because I'm out of order now. I know thy works, that thou hast a name, that thou livest and art dead. Let's go on. Be watchful and strengthen the things which remain that are ready to die, for I have not found thy works perfect before God. Remember therefore how, not what. Somebody say how. So it was talking about posture, not things. Remember therefore how thou hast received and heard, and hold fast and repent. If therefore thou shalt not watch, I will come on thee as a thief, and thou shalt not know what hour I will come upon thee. Thou hast a few names. So it was not only the Lord that had things. The church in Sardis also possessed a few names, which have not defiled their garments. And as a reward, they shall walk with me in white, for they are worthy. He that overcometh, the same, just like those men, shall be clothed in white raiment, and I will not blot out his name out of the book of life, but I will confess his name before my Father and before his angels. Verse 6, he that hath an ear, let him hear what the Spirit saith unto the churches. So the first question will be, do you have an ear? How many of us have ears? I know you have ears to hear what your friend is saying. But you'll find out that the advertisement of this tool, this hearing facility, was on purpose, not pluralized. And so the emphasis of the Lord must not have been to your 2 ears. Because if a spirit whispers to you, in case you came in deaf in 2 years, then we'll push you to Apostle Sam Abina. In case you came deaf in 2 years, you can still hear what the Spirit is saying to the churches. Because the impaired nature of your physical ears does not affect that ear that Jesus is talking about. It's a spiritual facility that was imputed in the day that you were made in God, but that only finds activity in the day that you confess the Lordship of Jesus.